Okay, let's see. Recording is going on. Hey, this is John Chen. I'm the CEO for Geoteaming. You're here. You guys are legendary now. You're in the first session of virtual team building post-coronavirus, and I just want to thank all of you for showing up. Again, my name is John Chen. I have a company that focuses around team building and leadership, and I've been working online with G now for over 30 years. I've been at Microsoft for a decade where we really started to use a lot of online tools. And then I started this company and really looked about how can you use technology for learning and better work productivity. And so that's really what I want to share with you over the next hour is the culmination of 30 years compressed into an hour. So I'm going to do a short presentation, and then this call is interactive. So if your camera and mic can be on, we can do that. You can mute for now, otherwise I will mute you. And then I will include you back in at different times during this call. So let's see, here we go. Okay, so you are in a session for virtual team building. And this call was amazing. I mean, we have people, James is in Hong Kong. And so virtual team building has the ability for us to put together, work together in so many ways, even if we're not in the same place. And now a lot of us, even if we're in the same place, can't be in the same place. So that's what's really going on here. Now, the challenge with teams specifically, I'm assuming that you work with other people and that these teams challenges, you know, while this challenge is new, there are some challenges that are not. And so these are the challenges in working with teams. Some of the research we have here is only 5.9% of companies communicate their goals daily. 5.9%. Communication, as you can tell, is super key during a crisis. As you can tell, people are starting to over communicate, as I'm really starting to feel some friends of mine going, if I get one more COVID-19 email, right, I might fill in the blank. And so, which is great, at least companies are communicating, but now you really got to figure out and monitor at all times, you know, what is the right form and level of communication. But most important is with your teams, if you already want to be in the top, you know, was it 94% or so, communicate your goals daily. So the next one is around collaboration. 39% of surveyed employees believe that people in their own organization don't collaborate enough. And what happens here virtually is most of the time on virtual is that people collaborate less than they do in the face-to-face office, less in the face-to-face office. It doesn't have to be that way, but that is the default trend. And that's why I hope you're on this call, is because you want to be one of those companies that collaborates even more. Hopefully, you know, what we call the theory of the common enemy, the coronavirus is something we're all dealing with, and that we all need to come together if you want to be successful in your team. And I hope that you are being one of those leaders that is helping in that. And hopefully I can give you a tool or two around that. And the next one is around alignment. So it says 97% of employees and executives believe that lack of alignment with a team impacts the outcome of a task or project. 97% believe that a lack of alignment. I have Mitch Simon who's online. He's a executive coach, and I believe that he can share some information around how important alignment and purpose, especially in these times, and being crystal clear around it, making no assumptions around it, can really, really help your teams. And I'm going to show you some examples. We are here in the hotbed in Seattle of the coronavirus, and there are some great and not so great examples of alignment and leadership. And I want to just share them with you just so you can see the difference between the two and bring those stories back to your organizations. So the last challenge here is work from home is mandated. So all of us are here. We're working from home. Most of us have to do it. Some of us are governmentally regulated to do so. So working from home is really one of the key challenges. And again, I hope you're here in that way, saying, okay, well, if this is our new reality, I want to be able to do it in the best way possible. And so that's what I'm here as one of the challenges that comes through. So with your teams. So the solution that I have is virtual team building, and I gave this witty an acronym. Kind of fills my mental state through, but it's the acronym is GARR, right? GRRR. And what are those four letters for? I hope this is a simple system just for you to remember in your online meetings, a way to say, am I can I make this better? And in this case, G is goals, right? So in this case, make sure that you define what is the goal for your group. What is the goal for you to do, right? It's very easy to get distracted in just reading the feed and everything else. You'll find that you'll create certainty and stability if you can get people to refocus back on their key goals. The next one is an R. The R is for rules. When meeting online, you really want to establish a set of rules, and I'll start to model some of that here for you. And again, what I do is what I've done from based on my experience. What I always tell people is make sure you take this system, but make sure it works with your culture. Your company is different than mine, so feel free to modify what I'm sharing with you in a way that works with your company and your people. But rules. The next one is rhythm. I think this one is the one that's most important. We've probably had one of our largest lifetime disruptions in regular work. And your ability as a leader to establish a rhythm, a team rhythm, is something that can help your team get back on track and create the productivity that you need. So rhythm is the next important R. And then the last R is results. I am a car fanatic. I last year became the owner of a Porsche Boxster. I've watched the F1, and the reason why this result is so amazing, that if you watch this, these people are so in tune. This team is so in sync that they're able to do a complete car change in under 2 seconds. And that's what I want for your teams. That's what I actually teach in all of my team building programs. Sometimes while we're doing these short initiatives, while they may not seem to apply to real work, they do use teamwork. And I've seen gains of anywhere from 10 to 77% or more by reducing the amount of time a team takes to complete a project because they're learning a key team principle. So this is something you really want to look for. None of this makes any sense unless you're able to create a result with your group. So those are the GRRR, or the GARR virtual team building. So I'm going to assume the goal for this call is that each of you really want to host a productive team meeting and establish a best team practice online. And I'll let you give me feedback on that. So we're actually going to come around and see how, if this is also your goal. So the first virtual team building principle I'm going to teach you is what's called go ahead caller. So I kind of done this. I used to have dreams of being a radio DJ. And so I used to love when people used to call in and the DJ would be able to go, okay, go ahead caller. And give a chance to let that person talk. So in this case, in go ahead caller, we're going to have each person introduce themselves. So their name and where they're from. And I would love for you to add something that's happening locally for you in terms of coronavirus. And again, if your goal is different from mine, then tell me what you would like to get out of this session. So let's see. So now there are different ways you can signal me. You can either raise your hand if your video is on. If you are on chat and your camera is off, you can say your name in the chat window. And if you are on the phone, you can unmute and say your name. What I'll do is acknowledge you, and this is how you can help do what I call air traffic control, which is trying to direct the conversation so that we're not all talking over each other. Okay, who would like to go first? Okay, we got Mitch from San Diego. Mitch, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mitch from San Diego, and what I want to get out of this call is to learn some really great tips to understand how to keep people engaged on a call, especially for a lot of new leaders who have never used any of these applications before. What's interesting about me? Well, we have a Trader Joe's around the corner, and there's nothing in it.
Wow. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mitch. Larry, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Larry from Seattle, and what's going on here is my daughter is coming home from college today, and they're about to go on spring break anyway, but they'll be here a lot longer than previously expected. So we're like going to be going stir crazy pretty soon. What I want to get out of this, we have diversity and inclusion initiatives, and different people have different styles in meetings, and so hoping to learn a little bit about making sure that everybody feels, like they're a participant in a large group meeting in a online distributed setup.
Perfect. Larry, remember Larry's comments here too. By the end of the meeting, I'm going to show you one of the ways to do that. See, it's, if I said it correctly, as Anlan, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I got it right.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
My name is Anlan Nguyen. I'm from Houston, Texas. And in Houston, the rodeo was canceled. Everything is canceled and it's all closed down except for the hospital and restaurants. They only allow to do delivery. But at least we can go to the grocery if it's really needed. So everybody is alert. And what I would look forward to learning from this section is how you do team building through this platform. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Anlan. I appreciate you calling in from Texas. You know, when rodeo gets canceled, it's serious. Okay, who would like to go next? Jessica and then BJ.
I'm Jessica. I'm in New Jersey. I work with a lot of different clients, so I'm trying to keep them moving. I mean, some of it's self-preservation. I want to be able to add value. I do business and marketing consulting. I also work with an association on staff, so I'm managing that and trying to figure out how we can keep our May meeting happening virtually, but also just advising clients in general.
Excellent. Jessica is one of my event professional friends that I've met through Meetings Professional International. She's an amazing speaker, so make sure, Jessica, if you want to chat your website, you can get other people to see it. Let's go ahead to BJ and then Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for chatting. BJ Stewart.
Hello, everyone. I'm in Seattle, so I'm in the hotbed of COVID-19. And we just recently, I work for a nonprofit, and we just recently either are in the midst of canceling programming and providing other alternatives of programming that are virtual, and or simply taking that programming online. John helped me facilitate a session last week. So what's kind of interesting about that is the understanding that this isn't going to be a week or 2 week thing. This is going to be a month thing. So I'm in my current home office, and we're converting another room in our home such that we have an office for my wife and an office for myself. And thanks, John, for setting the standard with the setting, the backdrop with branding and et cetera. I think that's a good modeling, and something that I learned in terms of projecting the image that you want to project as we build teams online.
Thank you so much, BJ. BJ works at Urban Impact Seattle, and we have the honor of coaching 12 inner city or central Seattle entrepreneurs. And so it's amazing work, and glad that we could collaborate. So thanks, BJ. We're going to go to Joseph and then DDT. We'll figure out who that is. Okay, Joseph, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Joseph Pauly. I work at the Overlake School in Redmond. So a lot of our classes have started to go online, but one of the things I'm really looking to do is create a community of our teachers and faculty and staff, and doing some of the things like creating rhythm for them, maybe having a virtual happy hour, things of that nature that we can kind of do to connect and make sure that we're keeping our community and culture alive while we're working virtually. One of the things that's interesting right now, since working from home, I was able to get outside for a little bit yesterday, which was nice, and finally rake all those leaves that came down from fall.
There is something super therapeutic right now about doing something that's tangible. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's therapeutic. I know I actually took a drive on Sunday because I had to go deliver a car to my son who came home from college. And I can tell you, I went driving through all the back roads here in Washington, and it was so therapeutic because I can't look at my feed while I'm driving. I should never do that anyways. And it was just healthy to stop looking for 4 hours. All the news is going to be there. There's always going to be more announcements. So, hey, thank you so much for sharing that. Speaking of which, I have a model for a happy hour. Jessica's already joined me on one of my event professional happy hours. I put it in the chat. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. No agenda. So you're more than happy to just show up and share with others who are in the business. Okay, let's see. That was Joseph. Let's go to DDT. Who is DDT?
Hey, David. So yeah, I'm working in Seattle too. Actually work with Larry. So yeah, what I want to get out of this is how to make sure that meetings are effective and we're still getting the right sort of information, and that working with the team, that the team still feels connected. I think one of the big problems here is going to be feeling isolated. So making sure that we can work out ways of making that sort of thing possible going forward. Interesting thing is I still use a trackball.
You still use a trackball? Is that what you said, David?
Yeah, I still use a trackball, which is apparently from the 90s, from what everyone else tells me. But yeah.
Can you put it on screen?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's impressive. That's an impressive piece of tech. Thanks so much, David. Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy working with Larry as much as I did. Let's see. So who else would like to go who hasn't spoken yet? Okay, Sam.
Hey guys, Sam here from Song Division. I'm based in London. Things are things are relatively relaxed still here, I would say. Prime Minister's telling people not to go to pubs or travel unnecessarily, but nothing's been shut down yet. We do a live team building experiences similar to you, but music based, so songwriting. So we're looking to take them online and make them virtual, and probably to Larry's point, really trying to make sure that they're as interactive as possible and everyone gets to have their opinions and voices heard, but without it just being a free for all and hard to control.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sam. Song Division has one of my greatest memories in life because they ran a charity auction at a meetings professional conference, and I got to sign in, and I got to play Johnny Be Good. I play guitar. I got to play Johnny Be Good with session players from Goo Goo Dolls and the Brian Setzer's Rockabilly Band, and in front of 1,400 of my professional friends, and I nailed it. In fact, the band asked me to come back and play later. So
awesome.
Thank you.
No worries. No worries. And we also have worked very closely with Jess Levin as well. So everything that you said, I agree with. I concur.
Excellent. Thank you. Hey, wait, what time is it in London? I don't have my chart in front of me.
7:20 p.m.
7:20. Holy cow. Okay, perfect. Thanks for joining us in. Who else would like to go? Let's do this. How about Victoria? Do you mind chiming in?
Yeah, kind of similar to what everyone else is saying. Trying to learn some new tips on how to continue to engage with our own employees, but also with our clients, and providing events for them that are, well, now everything has to be virtual. So yeah, trying to become a master at that.
I feel like Yoda. I'm going to tell you not to try. I'm going to tell you that you're going to be able to do it. And so the event professionals specifically, I feel have been hit the hardest. If you haven't seen the data, one of my friend runs Gravity Payments. It's a credit card company, and they processed all the data for all their clients. And overall, the revenue was down 10% in terms of revenue cards getting processed, but hotels specifically were down 59%. 59. So let's try running a business with 59% less revenue. Well, I think we're doing that. Okay, let's see. David. Okay, how about Alex? Alec Druffin?
Hey, John. So I was just about to chat you that I have to drop for something that came up, and I was going to come into another session. Okay. But I'm in Sacramento, California. I work for AT&T. We went fully work from home. Everybody was able to last week. And we do a lot of virtual teaming on a national team.
Yep.
So we use WebEx mostly, but try to encourage people to use video more. What I'm hoping to get out of this, and when I come back to a future session, is a little bit more of the engagement, like the icebreaker kind of things, trying to do that virtually. But we've tried some different things. We've tried like 4 picks 1 word kind of little, contests or just stuff like that. It takes a little bit of preparation work, but it kind of gets people interested and engaged. So if you have suggestions or out of the box ideas for that, would be much appreciated.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Alex. And thanks for pointing out, taking an hour out right now, in some ways is easier, in some ways harder, right? So like, if we don't have events going on in our deadlines, that makes it easier. But the harder is sometimes we get these crisis things that are happening because they're happening all day long. So I appreciate that, Alex. If you need to drop, go ahead, and if you can stay tuned in, feel free to do so. I think our last person is G from Boeing.
Yeah, hi, this is Jin. So I work for Boeing out of the Everett site, but I'm now is communicating or working virtual from home. So I primarily have kind of maybe a two purpose or two things I'd like to get out of this call. First is I kind of view the virtual working is basically the same or the copy from what you would normally do in the office, other than some of the mechanics has to be different in terms of communication, etc. So I think I might be oversimplifying. So I like to kind of appreciate things that I miss. And the second is by working virtual, there are a disadvantage, and I like to learn how the best way to kind of still to build trust with the people that I need to work with, particularly with the one that they are new to me. Maybe whether it's a new customer, new supplier, new colleague, how do I, maintain, and also actually, I would say, how do I build the trust to begin with? If most of the time I'm working virtual, I kind of see, there was always a trend that's going to be, less of FaceTime. And it didn't really quite happen as some of the people predicted, but, things like the coronavirus or other outbreak issues that might actually accelerate that or make that become a norm. So I think building trust is important, especially, we have to work virtual.
Yeah, thank you so much, G. Yeah, building trust is a big topic for virtual online because, again, on the surface, it's much harder. I can tell you, though, 20 years ago, I'm not old, that's true. 20 years ago, we actually did, we hooked up some of the first webcams to 2 laptops. So this was at a experiential education conference, right? One of my good friends is a PhD in the experiential education field, and he asked me to show a demo because nobody was doing it. Everything was ropes course at the time, and all the experiential initiatives that But we set up 2 cameras, and people, even though they were just 2 rooms away, they were not in the same space. And so they got on video, and each one of them told a story about their childhood. That was it. That was the entire assignment, right? In 5 minutes or less. We actually had them, how much did they trust the other person as a number between 1 and 10 as a simple measurement. And then afterwards, how much they did so. After just 10 minutes of video conferencing, the levels of trust on average went up 20%. 20%. And it really came from the ability to actually interact like this. And in this case, hopefully you can see some of our video, but for those of us who are on camera, I'm telling you, this is an advantage. You have the advantage to build that relationship faster, because look, I can see you and you can see me, right? If you start to tune out or you walk off camera, I just know you're not there, right? I can see, if you're acknowledging, like right now, I can see Mitch and BJ shaking their heads, and that's this is an acknowledgement that you get, and it helps build trust. And the key that comes around there is, for me as a leader too, is that you begin to build trust in me if I'm building a system that is bringing some order out of the organized chaos. And I think that's something that's really key to go on. There's deeper things that you can do, but we may not cover them in this call. But I just wanted to be able to put that out. So good, thank you. We got actually all of you inside of here, and I appreciate each of your comments and what you're looking for. So that's a version of Go Ahead Caller, and this is something, even though it takes time, as you can see if I'm looking as a time mark, I think it's one of the most important things in terms of being able to open a call and close a call. And checking in with your teammates right now is super important, even if it's just a sentence, right? Or a word, or even, so we used to have check-ins in our previous team meetings, and you had to give like the emotion you're at: happy, okay, sad, I'm angry, all right? And just so you could kind of check in and say, 1, where are you at? And number 2, now I'm actually fully engaged in this call. So I think that's the real key between a team meeting and a webinar. In a webinar, I can go do email and do something else. I'm just passively listening. But in a team meeting, you want this kind of engagement for the 60 minutes, and you're going to ask this from your teammates. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like when you're leading a meeting and you see somebody go off and start texting someone in the middle of the meeting, you kind of know they're not all there. And so what I ask people is let's just be here. We can be here. The meeting will be shorter, so you can go back and do all that other work if I can just have your attention during this time. And what I reciprocate for that as the leader is that I'll make this time as valuable as possible for you. So that's one of the purposes of Go Ahead Caller. You can see here too that we actually were able to hear everyone clearly, that two people are not talking over each other. So that's Go Ahead Caller. So this gets us to the rules, right? So our group has now established some somewhat easy rules. So this is, we're establishing a somewhat of a speaking rule, right? Most people now are on mute, which is kind because as I'm the main presenter. And now if you want to be able to ask or say something, right, I can clearly say when. And now we know there are some different ways for people to do that, whether it's raising your hand as a visual, or chatting, or unmuting and saying your name if you're on a phone. You can see here too, like people have different levels of bandwidth when they're coming in. If they just call in by a phone, they will miss some of these things. But they can still, you need to know and kind of make sure that you can get to that piece. The other piece here too is Zoom and other tools work really well on iPads and phones. So you should help your technology challenged people to get them onto Zoom and test it out before a call, because then they can get the same advantage. They don't have to be disadvantaged by missing the video. I've taken Zoom calls in my car, not moving, and you know, mobile, and had the bandwidth so far has been so good. I did like to say, you know, you want to see real panic, wait till the internet goes down. Right? We'll see what people really do then, when, as opposed to no TP. But hopefully that will never happen. I'm actually very impressed that our technology is staying up. The other part here as the leader is to acknowledge all people. So even if other people make a gesture to me, as you can see, I acknowledge them and said I'll get to them. That way they know that they're being heard. There's nothing worse than being in virtual land and to think that the leader of the call is ignoring you. So that's the Go Ahead Caller part. Let's see, I'm gonna bring up my chat window. Oh, okay, so Jessica says her connection's a little wonky, so she turned off her camera. So this is another part too, again, that's really helpful actually, which is where we're gonna go next. This is, I teach people that to use the chat, right? So in the chat, go ahead and chat something inside of, let me think what I can put inside of there. Let's be positive, right? Let's chat either a good example or a tip that you know that I haven't even said yet inside the chat window. And then, so while you guys do that, the key here is that I teach people to use the chat as a back channel. I specifically go in and say, you know, if you are online, feel free to put comments, questions, and other types of things in the chat. And this is really valuable because it can really help people who, for instance, in the styles that we use is called a persuader. It could be like a type A, it could be an extrovert, depending upon what kind of system you like to use. People who talk a lot, right? They don't have the opportunity because there's a little less airtime than in a live meeting. And so being able to do that, thank you, Anand, for being the first to chat, is a chance to, you know, express yourself on the line. And so the group chat, the back channel chat sometimes can be really fun or funny. People who don't even establish system, I'll start establishing it as a listener, just try and see if there are other people who are on it. And there's amazing how much that you can get done also in the back chat, in the back channel chat while everything else is going on. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a simple one. If you haven't figured out what to put inside of there, why don't you just put the URL for the link of your company? So that would be great. Jessica added the tip. Zoom has cool virtual backgrounds, so if your house is messy, I can't get mine to work, but you can put yourself in outer space. Yes, I have done this. It is a setting inside of there. So I'm going to watch the chat here for a second. Sam comes from songdivision.com. Mitch is in Simon Leadership Alliance. Geez, sorry everyone if I don't turn on the camera. I'm not sure if Boeing even allows video. Oh, that's a really good point, G. Is finding out your company policies. I know Boeing does have lots of sensitive information. While you finish chatting these two, this actually gets to some of the basics here, which is lighting, right? This microphone, I've actually hooked up this microphone and I've tested the quality. It is so much better than my video camera, and Zoom and other things have the ability to use that. See, Sam is using headphones, so usually the quality is much clearer. They can put a microphone much closer to you. So this backdrop is actually designed for specifically for video, right? And so placing items inside of here is actually another idea. And what are the other ones that I've used? Oh, if you have a clean backdrop, see, like Victoria has an advantage. She has a blank wall behind her. She can now actually design this wall. Like if you slightly turn your camera and you put what I call two pillars, you can put 4 to 6 items behind you. Like Tolo Events is branding, right? A picture of your favorite event or you with a famous client. So these are subliminal things you can put inside of your space. So I know I come from Asian tradition. There's some, I still use some feng shui in my office, and some of this can also occur inside of here on here. So, you know, worst case is seen. I think there's a guy, is it Damon from Shark Tank? He has a video conference, you know, from his kitchen table. So you see like his like dining room and all this other stuff. And so making a space, what BJ was talking about earlier in the call about making a space is something that's very, very important. Mitch says, I have a lot of trophies. Thanks a lot. Okay, so that's a back channel. And that's something I highly recommend that you introduce as a tool because, again, and please feel free to use that. You can, again, ask me questions or chat with others. Sometimes when I'm presenting, my chat window disappears, but it does give me an alert. So if somebody does chat, it starts flashing and allows me to bring up that window again. So this is something for you as a presenter to know, too. This is a new environment and you have new tools. You got to practice how to use them, right? We all have gotten practice in our lifetime for a face-to-face meeting. This takes a little bit more practice to see some of these tools, such as knowing where the chat went. It's very easy to get lost, especially if you have one screen. So practice like this is something I think that's really, really valuable. Show people, right, the chat window, encourage them to use it when others are speaking. This helps extroverts or others get ideas without interruptions. It actually helps introverts too. So introverts who not normally would speak up, a lot of times they can have an idea after they process quite a bit of information from the meeting and put it inside the chat window. And I've seen introverts change an entire meeting with that one direct thought that really clarified what was going on. It also shows creativity and engagement. So if I'm using the chat window, it means I'm engaged with a meeting and I'm not reading email and you know, spacing off into some other place. So thanks for all of you who had chatted in the window. Let's pick up the last chat. Oh, how do you change the background? Larry wants to know. Let's see if I can do it.
I saw a Facebook post that had the teacher saying, "Oh, I'm gonna teach from Hogwarts," and he had the Hogwarts picture in the background. That looked
okay,
really
so
cool.
the setting for you, if you want to try it, is next to your video camera, the up or down arrow. It says change your virtual background. Now, I don't have a good setup for it, but I'll show you. I just went into outer space. Let's see if you can see that. Oh, here, I'm going to stop share. Okay, so now you can see I'm in outer space. And you know, Google Hangouts was one of the first places to do this, where they also did augmented reality and they could turn you into Rudolph, right? And I swear I laughed for like an hour until like going, I don't know if I can use this in a corporate meeting, but it is possible. The other settings by default in Zoom, you can add any image to. So let's see, here's the greenery and here's San Francisco. So I'm from originally the Bay Area too, so this would be apropos. I'm gonna leave mine solid for now. Okay, moving on. So bonus share. Okay, so now we're talking about engagement, right? Where somebody asked about team building. We're actually gonna play a short version of a game. So the assignment is for all of you to chat to A to Z, okay? If anybody misses a letter or repeats a letter, you have to start over. when you're chatting A through Z, you guys can't talk to each other. But if you miss a letter, you can unmute and start to talk to each other. And then once you agree to start again, whenever the letter A puts on, you guys should either stop talking or be put onto mute. So does anybody have any questions? No, but so now you can know some personality styles. I can tell you that Mitch, Joseph, and Victoria are definitely doers. Jessica, though, you have to restart because there's 2 C's. There's 2 C's. So if anybody wants to talk, you can start again. Oh, Joseph has started again. BJ and Larry have got 2 C's. You'll have to start again. Jessica and Larry have 2 A's. Start again. DDT and BJ have 2 B's. Now let me remind you, I'm going to pause you for just a second. Remember I said that you could, oh, Anlan, you also can't chat the same letter again, Anlan. I forgot to tell you that. That each letter has to be chatted by a different person. Okay, so let me pause you for just a second. So if you want to unmute your mics for wherever you're at, if you want to say your name, we can try and get some conversation and then a new agreement.
This is Larry. I'm wondering if we all switch to gallery view, if everybody would be in the same order, or if we see different orders and that's not going to help.
The first 3 people I see are Mitch, John, and Victoria.
Or just before anyone puts a letter in, just put their hand up until when no one else has their hand up. I'm going to push A.
Oh, what?
So we have a restart. We have an A and a C.
That went well.
So let's have conversation again. So if again, you guys are unmuted, who has another suggestion?
I like the idea of doing it alphabetically.
A lot of J's out there.
Oh, true.
Okay, but we can do that. I guess J. Polly comes before Jessica, comes before G. Lynn, comes before John. Okay, let's do that.
And I'm not chatting, just so you know, Larry.
Does the rule prevent only one person doing it?
Yes, every letter has to be chatted by a different person. G.
Oh, I see.
Can we establish an order right now and everybody just hit a letter and then we'll always go in that order?
That's what we were saying, in alphabetical order by our names, as you see on the window.
What I was thinking is instead of doing that, we could just go into the chat window and just make one, just say hello, and then I would be first, and then the next person to say hello would be second, and then I would always go, you know.
So say hello, figure out who said hello right before you, and then you provide the letter after they do.
That's what I'm thinking. What is everybody else thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. So I will be A.
Oh, you want to chat hello, I believe, BJ.
Hmm?
Oh, well, BJ did take AA. Okay.
Well,
That's
it
good.
would be Sam, Larry, then BJ, then Joseph, Pauly for me. So I would always go after BJ.
Sam, Larry, Joseph, Pauly, Victoria, right?
Has everybody gone? Has anybody
So.
not gone?
I haven't. So that means if I do hello, I will be after Mitch, right?
Correct. And then
No, I will be after and hi.
and then Sam would be after you to restart. Sound good?
What about Jessica?
Jessica's gone to the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay.
Jessica's confused.
Jess is last. Jess is last.
We need to, this way we need to figure out who the last person is, so the first person can know, to pick up from the last person.
Yeah.
I think it's Jess. So be me, BJ. No, me, Larry, BJ, Jay, Paulie, Victoria, DDT, Mitch, Lan, Jai Lee, and Jessica. And then back to me.
So Jessica, for your confusion, every time Jay Lee writes a letter, you would do the next letter. Does that make sense?
Let's try. I'm going to hit A.
Yes, we're skipping me, Jessica. Thank you. And now you can't talk because Sam has chatted A. So let's see if we can continue.
Perfect.
I've never been more insecure with C's in my life.
There you go. Bravo, everybody. So let me hear some commentary around that, right? What was that like for you on your side?
Well, as I was kind of joking, but I was serious, is a very well-known subject. And when the pressure was on to respond correctly, I was a little bit insecure about my response.
BJ, I have to laugh because last week we did a test call like this and they got to this point, right? And if I don't know, see, this is really the key, right? So you're seeing engagement as the letters get closer to Z, like you lean in more, right? And you're saying, come on, we can do it. And last time somebody went from V to X because she just liked the letter X and just completely skipped W after like this whole process of this. Other comments? Thanks, BJ. Any other comments for what you experienced on your side, especially those who helped create the system?
I was trying to type my letter on the very first, but somehow the focus wasn't right, so it wasn't working, and I was like, ah!
See, just like that Formula One race, right, where people are, in a pit stop and they're doing all that stuff, this is what teams have to do. And when it comes to your time to perform, all right, whether especially online, you got to be there, right? Otherwise, you can see this delay. If you haven't tracked, right, I think it took you slightly over 6 minutes to do this. In our other trainings too, we do something like this, a debrief, and then talk amongst the team as a system. And as you can tell, we could probably do this in under 30 seconds or less, since you have the system here, if you could really get people and the latency delay is low. Any other comments or things that you learned about team building online?
just to be flexible, I guess, because we had two different suggestions as to how to proceed, and I was like, well, I don't really need to argue one way over the other. Let's just go with something.
The real key with that here too is, so look how simple this challenge is. This is just A to Z. But what I'm telling you, right, as people get online and have to solve complex work challenges, they have to go through the same decision and group process as we went through here. This is why often we use initiatives in team building, because we can simulate a 60-minute meeting like in 5 or 6 minutes, but all the dynamics are exactly the same. We don't have an established leader, for instance. We don't have anybody facilitating the call after I stop talking. But you guys, have to create that system. And this is what I'm talking about sometimes in rhythm as well as problem solving, things to understand about group problem solving. With that is how do we do that? And then more importantly, how do we get success and how do we get our team members to perform? So hopefully those of you, especially those who are coaches or are facilitators, you can see the value for this. And even if you haven't said anything to me, I know you're probably internally processing this for yourself and thinking maybe about your teams and saying, how are we making decisions now? And again, of course, can we make that faster? So this is really one of the reasons of doing this is some people ask, like, how do we build teams online? So sometimes if you use this initiative, the reason for doing this prior to doing work is, number one, is it's something different, it's engagement, but instead it will also help identify patterns in your group or your team. I think Larry actually said it right. There's two competing ideas, but you can see if the team has the capability of letting go of an idea. Sometimes you have leaders who are so strong that they're just trying to cram their idea down, even though nobody gets it, or people are, like this. Jessica was confused, right? So you needed time to buy her into the idea. I used to make a joke when I was back at Microsoft. I spent 10 years there, and I said, today we're going to make consensus, not product, right? And so I'll say it again. Today we're going to make consensus, not product. And what I mean by that is that if you get consensus first, then the product actually becomes much easier because everyone actually agrees. But when we tried to make product without consensus, it was people started just doing their own thing, doubling work, and we'd have to clean it up later. Okay, let's see. So thank you for that. So let me just come back here. So that's A to Z. This is a very simple initiative, but again, something simple that you can do during the time. As you can see now, we're starting to establish a rhythm with this meeting. And so you can see how different people are interacting, that I can now give up the mic and you guys can have a valid conversation inside of that. And all these things come around rhythm. You should also expect in your early meetings for them to achieve less and be slower. But if you achieve this rhythm, you'll find that you can build more and more. And back to G's comment about building trust. When you build trust, there's a trust in the rhythm of a meeting, so that I kind of know when to expect to do things. That helps people earn the trust and usually contribute more. I can tell you in the event professional happy hours that I am running, that even in the second call, we reached a deeper level of trust, so much so that they actually told me to not record it because they really wanted to say things that were personal and real to them. And so I turned off the recording and we had just a much deeper conversation around it. So we were established more and more trust. So as we get into the closing part, so yeah, here's the rhythm, right? Make sure there's a really clear start and end to each meeting. That's the same. Find the rhythm for sharing and solving information with your group. And again, this small initiative like these can help you find out what is the problem solving for your team. Bring your culture online. And what I mean by that, again, is that customization. Find things that resonate with your culture that you do that is unique. And in this case, if you don't have the right culture for online, make new culture. So in our culture, in our team building, in our company, we always have something where we really validate what other people said. So there's a phrase we use, which is, what I think I heard you say is. Again, that phrase is, what I think I hear you say is. That's culture in our company. When I hear one of my teammates saying that, I know that that's the culture coming out, and they're trying to clarify. Like Jessica really could have said, what I think I hear you saying is you want me to chat after, the person who was before me. And so that's a way to make culture and rhythm inside of that. All right, we're gonna do this last one. So hopefully if you have a participant window open, you click the Manage Participants button underneath there. So can each of you then inside of there, there's a green checkbox that says yes. I have now clicked mine. If each of you can click yours. Victoria, thank you. Larry, yes. Mitch, yes. Sam, yes. Jessica, yes. Joseph, yes. GDDT, BJ, and Anlan, if you can find yours.
So where's the button?
It is in Manage Participants. So when you click
Oh.
Manage Participants, you get a window. Okay, waiting for BJ. BJ's still trying to find his button. And Anlan and DDT. So again, let's see if I can, I'll show you what it looks like.
Let's see. Oh, all right.
BJ, oh yeah, BJ and Anlan.
Yeah, I click on participant, is that right?
Yeah, so if you click participants and then here, there is a yes button. Again, you can see this is where screen sharing can really help out during your meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you click participants, there should be a list of us. There, Anlan's in. Hopefully we'll get BJ in. So what I'm gonna do is, now if you can go to your chat window, I'll do a couple questions, right? Let's do some easy ones. But if you wanna chat a question, this is actually something I used during a webinar and found it to be really valuable. Has your life been impacted by coronavirus? If you can say yes or no. Has your life been impacted by coronavirus? So no, you don't want to chat yes in the window. I would like you to click the green button or the red button. There we go, almost everybody. Now, if you have in the chat window, if you want to, this is how you give control. There's a theory that I like to have, which is called let the inmates run the asylum. So now I can put you guys in control. If there's a yes, no question that you would like to ask, you can put it in the chat window and we can figure out what to do. So I'll let you chat. I'll take a minute to chat. Let's see if I'll have another question here. Oh, let's see. Hello, Roselle. This is John, and we're just wrapping up a meeting.
Okay.
So you can hang out if you like. Oh, that's a nice question. Okay, Sam says, is everyone really grateful for John for this session? If you agree, green, say yes. If red, say no. Oh, thank you so much. And we're going to do, let's see, let's just do one more. If somebody else has another question in the chat, feel free to ask a yes or no question. Victoria's correct. Does everyone have toilet paper? That is a hilarious question. Joseph has a hand clap, or is he just wiping with his hand? I can't tell. Okay, so this is another way to create engagement with yes, no. So again, you want to train people in these systems, right? Because like, as you can see, some people took a minute to find it. But what I like to do is layer these on. Like every meeting, you layer one new technology on so you can have some training time to do it. Don't do it all at once, by the way, right? You know, for the first call, keep it simple. And then you have the ability to add one more thing each meeting. So this is an easy way to do this. This is also a great way to get questions from the group, right? And then that they're curious. So again, you can put them in control of that. And I found during webinars that I found this really valuable because like this, you get funny questions. Sometimes you get real questions too. So like, do you have any kids overseas or anything like that? Might be one of the questions. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. We're almost to the end. I'm going to show you one of the secrets here. So Larry asked, how did I know, or how could I know if everybody was participating or not? So I'm going to bring over, this is a tool that I have, and I'm going to share these with you. This is called a participant map. I invented this for myself almost 20 years ago when I was working with Boeing. And as you can see here, I have the names as of people as they logged in. And quite often what you can do is do things like this, is make markers for when people talk or interact. You don't have to do it all the time, but definitely during that check-in, that was how I was able to know that I didn't miss somebody, right? So I knew that Victoria, for instance, hadn't gone yet. And this map is a way to do it. And this also is kind of time bound, meaning that this conversation occurred after this conversation. So in other words, David talked after Joseph and so forth and so on. And it gives a very easy way for you as a facilitator to see what's happening with this. So a participant map is really one of the behind the scenes things that I'm doing to keep track. So again, the results is I really hope that each of you get results. As I close into this, you know, the results that you're looking for is an successful online meeting, the ability to get work done under challenging conditions, helping and being a leader in your company, leader. I continue to quote this. I think those who will survive Corona the best are those who can adapt the fastest, and that you can develop new ways to help. So I want to give you one of the greatest examples. We're wrapping up here. I just need a minute or two more. Thank you so much. Canlis is a fine dining restaurant. This is really 4-star restaurant, and they went so far to do this. They said they redesigned their entire business model in a week. And they said, times are changing and so are we. For now, we're shutting our dining room. Fine dining is not what Seattle needs right now. Instead, this is one idea for safely creating jobs for our employees while serving as much as our city as we can. I know the Canlis Brothers is a 3rd-generation restaurant, and another restaurant owner closed 12 of his 13 restaurants, but this is what Canlis did, and it is genius. They created a bagel shop. You can drive in between 8 and 11. Bagel spreads, breakfast sandwiches, and coffee. They have a drive-through for lunch, burgers, veggie milk, salad, and an ice cream sandwich. And this is the kicker, a home-cooked dinner from a 4-star restaurant and a bottle of wine delivered to your doorstep. Yesterday was the first day they opened. They had a line down the block at a time when restaurants are closing. Canlis is showing the way. They adapted the fastest. And so I hope you do with the virtual team building that we have. Hey, thanks so much for the questions. If you got value out of this, please help others and let them know about my link. I have 9 more sessions every noon. Like, again, I built Rhythm. It's Tuesday through Friday for the most part, every day at noon Pacific Standard Time. And I can put that in the chat as well as you'll get it in the follow-up email. With the virtual team building, we can help increase team performance. I would love for your teams to be in the top 20% of teams online. That's what I really see. And that I want you to be seen as a leader in your organization. I did say this, you know, our business has been challenged too. And this is one of my ways of adapting. I have 3 90-minute sessions with a maximum of 12 participants. You will also, if you join this, you'll get an opportunity to lead a session with my feedback. And I think that would really help those who are having to lead conversations. You also get 30 days text and email support. This is value priced at $900. I went around and shopped the other places, and this is less than what most other places do. I have the 23rd, 25th, and 27th at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time currently scheduled. If you need something shorter or your budget are not as big, I have 2 90-minute sessions. And I really think these are things that, again, if you're going to be online, BJ is right. We're going to be here maybe not a month, but possibly 2. I have a good friend who's an ex-military. He said it could be as long as 2 years. I don't think any of us know, but it's very possible. If you're interested in any of these, please, you can personal chat me, or you can email me in the follow-up, and I will follow up with you. I can send you an invoice. If you pay it, I will sell you all the login instructions. So again, thank you so much for staying on. If you have a minute, I would love to do a closing called Last Word. I know I'm just a few minutes over. Rosie, I hope you don't mind, but
this is great. I'm glad I tagged in on the end of this.
Oh, great. So as each of you, if you need to go, you have permission to go. But in the last word, I just really like to give people the last word, share whatever they felt like came up during the meeting. If you want to go, either raise your hand or put your name in the chat, please. Mitch. Oh, you're on mute.
Mute. John, this was great. Really good. Really, very, very, very good ideas. And really some encouragement for all of us to get out there and have even better team meetings with our teams.
Outstanding. Thank you, Mitch. Who would like to go next? BJ. Nope. BJ hit it. Oh, wait, sorry, BJ, you're on mute.
There we go. What I'm taking away is adapt. Those who adapt will survive.
Thank you so much, BJ. Who else would like to go?
I'll go.
Thank you, Jessica.
I've just been, I think this is like day 4 of being in the house, and it was just nice to actually connect with other humans.
You need that, Jessica. I've been talking about mental health in the event profession. You need this. You need to lead this for others. Thank you, Jessica. Sam.
Yeah, just want to say massive thanks because this is we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of this, and I've heard really good things about you, John. So it's nice to put a digital face to the name and make some new connections. Good to see you, Jess. Go Seahawks.
Thank you so much, Sam. I hope to see you face to face in the next world, in the next reality. Who else would like to go?
Hey, I go. This is G.
Yes.
Thank you, John, and the other fellow participants. I think this is good for me that, give me a fresh, different perspective of looking at virtual and the team.
Excellent. Thank you, G. Would love to hear any stories. Joseph, David, and Larry. And you can pass if you'd like.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I like the A to Z thing. I think we might try it out in our group, but well, I'll talk with David about that later. But take care. I got to run.
Thank you, Larry. David?
Yeah, the A to Z thing was interesting. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I worked on Hangouts a long time ago too.
Impressive, David. Love to connect with you later about some Hangout stories. Joseph.
No, I just appreciate it. Thanks for showing us a proof of concept.
Excellent. All right. Well, and Roz, you're the last word. You jumped in at the end. I would love any feedback from you.
I just love your energy. I didn't get the chance to really see you facilitate a session at Lonerpalooza last year because I was running around. So I heard great things about you, and just the tail end of this, I think you're just a phenomenal facilitator, bringing up people's energy.
John,
Excellent.
Victoria. You missed Victoria as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Victoria. Sorry, go ahead.
I really enjoyed it. I definitely will be sharing these concepts with my team and implementing them to our future meetings.
Outstanding. Thank you all for coming to this call. This call will be archived. I'll be able to send it to you. We'll have a chat log, so some of it actually doesn't show up on the video. I'm learning from Zoom, but I can mash them back together later. Most of all, I really appreciate each of you. I hope each of you are being leaders in your communities, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Okay?
Thank you.
Cheers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.